Hey everybody, Alex here from Heavy New York. First interview at the PlayStation Theater, and today we got Corey of Trivium. Thank you so much for your time, man. It's great to have you here. So the new record, The Sin and the Sentence, has just come out 2 weeks ago, and the record is phenomenal. How has the recording and this tour so far been with Arch Enemy?
It's been great. Recording the record, was a lot of fun. The same, there's nothing really, different to talk. Same kind of, scenario with how we made it. We do the same thing we always do. But this tour's been great. It's been nice to, after all the work on the record, get the record out where fans can hear the whole thing. And we were always really excited about what we were doing with the record when we were writing it and recording it. We knew we had something pretty cool that we think the fans were going to really enjoy and be really kind of surprised by. Since the record's been out, it's just the response has been better than any record we've had for the longest time. And this tour's been the best U.S. tour we've had in our career, headlining. So, most of the shows already so far have been sold out or almost sold out. And tonight's, I think, sold out. Or almost
just sold out.
Just sold out. So, yeah, you heard it here first. It's amazing because last time we played in New York City, we sold out at a smaller venue at Irving Plaza, and now playing the PlayStation and selling this out. It just shows people are excited about the record, and especially excited about this tour. When we were booking the tour, we wanted to get a really cool package together that we felt our fans would really respond to and really enjoy, from the first band till the headliners and stuff. So we were big fans of Fit for an Autopsy and While She Sleeps, and we just wanted to get those bands in front of our fans, because we felt we really want to champion the next the newer bands that that need the extra exposure, and we felt that our fans would really enjoy what they did. So it seems to be people have been coming out to these shows and showing all the bands love. So I think we kind of had the right idea.
Yeah, definitely. Now, with this particular record, did you kind of want to make was it meant to be sort of like a follow-up to Silence in the Snow, or did you want to start fresh and do something that you may have never tried before?
I think we just kind of listened to our instincts, and we felt that the last record you did it a certain way. Every record we try to make the best record we possibly can at that moment in time, and sometimes you kind of nail it, and sometimes maybe you tried something that didn't quite work or whatever. But we kind of while we're on tour and playing our whole catalog and just kind of seeing how fans responded to certain songs and certain types of songs, and listening back to a record and just kind of having a self-reflection of having a fresh perspective, because we're so far away year-wise from a lot of records. Just kind of look back at our records and which ones we loved and why, and what was about them that made them special. And we just kind of use that as kind of the starting point of writing this record, was trying to take everything we felt that was the best of Trivium and just really kind of making this next step in our evolution of having stuff that felt very familiar but also very fresh and new, and having all the elements that really I guess people came to us for. People love it when we're heavy, melodic, and also very riff out on the instruments and stuff like that. So we tried to just take everything that I think people love about our band and just really kind of push it to the next level. And I think we kind of, the instincts were right, because the fans seemed very responsive to this album from the first song we put out.
Yeah, I feel with this record, people who love Ember to Inferno or Ascendancy, but also love the last record or the Crusade or whatever, could really I feel this could really appeal to all eras of Trivium.
Yeah, it's every record, regardless if it's critically acclaimed or it's split down the middle of fans love it, some fans don't. Every record has gained us new fans, and you could talk to a bunch of different Trivium fans, and they got into us at different eras, and particular records are their favorite because of that. The band or the record that you discover a band on has special meaning to you. So there's been a lot of people Shogun fans have been really stoked because it has that combination of the 7 strings and the darkness of Shogun. So a lot of those fans have been really responsive, but also fans from Silence in the Snow who got into us more recently are really so it's every era that has really kind of, because I think we've really just kind of taken everything we've done and just kind of made a a fresh Trivium sound out of it. So it's, I felt like, there's some really heavy stuff. There's some more simplified melodic stuff that kind of carries over from Silence in the Snow, and then there's stuff that the Ascendancy, Shogun, stuff that people will gravitate to. So I think it's a really balanced record, and also it's got a little bit of a variety too that we've showcased throughout our career.
Definitely. Now, Trivium has toured with like a variety of different bands. Like, last year you played here with Sabaton, which is more of like a power metal thing. The summer prior to that, you played with Seven Dust. I know you played with Avenged Sevenfold, and now you're here with Arch Enemy, which is one of the heavier bands out there. So, depending on the bills that you're on, how different like of an audience do you notice that you're playing in front of?
Depends. If we're headlining, we kind of have our crowd, which is very diverse. Over the years, we're very versatile in who we can tour with. We've gone out with super commercial bands. We've gone out with extreme bands. So we just we have our fan base that we've kind of just built over the years. So I think that's always pretty consistent. And then depending on the bill, there's there could be a mix depending on if there's something like Sabaton. There's a lot of Sabaton fans that probably maybe don't know much about us. And which works good because there's also a lot of Trivium fans that probably don't know fill in the blank of whoever's opening for us. So it kind of goes both ways, where we get to get some fresh ears on whoever's we're playing with, and their fans coming to see them and hearing us. So it varies a little bit depending on the other bands on the bill, but I think our fans it's pretty very varied audience.
Definitely. Now, one thing I was always curious about, and I've always wondered this, Trivium obviously starting from Florida, a lot of people hear heavy metal in Florida and they would think of, Obituary and Deicide and Morbid Angel and 6 Feet Under. But, I mean, how different of a scene was it, because have thrash elements and melodic metal core elements and stuff like that. Was it, were you kind of like I don't know if this is the right way of putting it, but almost in a way like the oddball out in the Florida metal scene in a way, or?
I guess the Tampa death metal scene, that was, way before our time. So we didn't really were a part of any of that, because that was way before our band was even put together. But the Orlando metal scene, besides a couple other bands, there hasn't been anything I guess Death is the only real metal band that I can think of from Orlando, and it's been a lot of pop punk stuff, Data Remembers from our area, and there's probably some other stuff even before that. I think Dashboard Confessionals or something like that.
And Matt Heafy's first band, Freshly Squeezed.
Yeah, but as far as what we do, we just kind of had our what we grew up on, what our kind of favorite music wasn't really so much a part of a scene. It was just kind of we just did what we wanted to play and what we wanted to hear as music fans. So we've always just kind of been our own thing, even when they were trying to lump us in with whatever movement at the time that was the hip thing to do. Trivium's always just kind of been Trivium on our own. We had never really had a scene or other bands that we were in a niche with or something like that. It's just because we didn't really have any other bands in the Orlando area that were really, I guess, similar to us or in the same, I guess, influential, I guess, zone or whatever. Except for Paulo's band that played with Trivium a couple times before he joined. He was very, his band was probably the closest thing to Trivium. That's probably why we ended up joining up. We just all fit together well with musical influences and what the kind of music we wanted to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool because, Killswitch Engage and All That Remains and Shadows Fall, they're all from the same area. As I Lay Dying, Atreyu, 18 Visions, all from that area. But it's, cool that you guys kind of, launched on your own in a way and kind of started something new in Orlando.
Yeah. So it's just kind of Orlando's Trivium. We don't have any buddy bands.
Better off. Yeah. But I want to truly thank you so much for your time. Is there anything we could be expecting from Trivium in terms of tours? The new record is out now, so I'd imagine you guys will be touring like crazy.
Yeah, this is the only tour for the year. But next year is going to be really busy. Going to Europe again. A lot of stuff that hasn't been announced. But will be soon. And then there's also some really cool stuff we're putting together for more touring in the States for next year.
Excellent. Will you be hitting New York again?
Not sure. Maybe, possibly, but I don't really know off the top of my head. Everything's getting booked, but I guess just keep an eye out. But we got some pretty cool stuff in the works that we're excited about. So hopefully we'll make it back in this area and you can see that.
Excellent. Well, again, I want to truly thank you so much for your time. It's
No problem,
great
man.
to have you here. Everybody, Corey of Trivium. Pick up the new record, The Sin in the Sentence. It is absolutely awesome. Catch them on their tour with Arch Enemy while she sleeps in fit for an autopsy. And we'll see you next time on Heavy New York.